What the world needs now is love, sweet love. Think of your fellow man, lend him a helping hand, put a little love in your heart.
We're ready already? Okay, hi, I'm Art Fein, Art Fein's Poker Party, coming here from Hollywood with
I love that name.
some very special guests.
And us.
And starting from the left, we'll have the first time in Mr. Hal Lifson. Hal,
Hi, thanks for having me, Art.
welcome to the show. Hal's a radio character. He's a radio featured person. Not right now,
Not at this moment.
but he's a great guy, and he's a friend of our featured guests, and we're going to be talking to him and her in just a minute. Next time we got Todd Everett.
Enough of me. I got a trivia question for you.
Okay, for me?
Who had the hit single version of The Wait?
Of The Wait? Mm-hmm. I guess.
I know who.
You're going to say Aretha Franklin, right?
No.
Yeah,
Who? Really?
yeah.
Holy
There's the fact, the first time I ever heard The Wait was her version.
We're jumping. We don't know who we're talking about.
Okay, that goes.
Well, come on. Everybody knows.
Jackie DeShannon. On side of Jackie DeShannon, welcome to the
Hi,
show.
thank you. Such a pleasure to be
It's
here.
a great pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
It's a great pleasure to have you here. And then, of course, we got Paul Bodie. Always a pleasure, Paul.
Great to be here, man.
Your hair's growing back, Paul.
Well, it's gonna be. I haven't got. Don't worry. I'm gonna take care of this.
When you started this show, you had a whole bunch of
I know, but I got old, man.
Okay, all right. Well, enough about you. Let's talk about Jackie DeShannon, all we can. Jackie DeShannon, well-known singer, songwriter. Now, I go back a ways with you, not personally, but following your career. The first time I saw you was at Winter Gardens in Meadowdale.
Really?
So here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are 40 years later.
40 years later, yep.
Roller rink or something like that.
Started early.
Ice skating rink or something like
Was
that.
that when you were still in Kentucky or after you
I was
came
in
out?
Chicago
No,
area.
Chicago.
No, I know that. But you were living in Chicago then.
Yes, just outside Chicago. Yeah.
Right.
Jackie's experienced, so I don't know what you've experienced, but you seem to have experienced so much by being in LA and making hit records, writing hit records, and what am I looking at you for? In Los Angeles in the early 60s when all the music scene was really building and you were part of it, and it's just so terrific, and then you got famous and it's so great, and wow, good for you. And also, of course, the reason we're here is because you got a new record out.
Yes, all new songs.
This is the You Know Me album. Somebody just flipped off the monitor. Could you put it back on? This is her brand new album. It just came out.
Why would somebody flip off the monitor? What's the monitor done to anybody?
I don't know. Oh, I see. Very funny. But we're very happy with this. It's called You Know Me. It's a brand new record. We'll be playing some cuts from it in a little while. Todd, Paul here is just enamored as like mad of Jackie and just came along. Not to say much, but
I'm not going to say anything.
be in
I'm
her
just here.
presence. Okay, when you started out as a kid in Kentucky, I really liked your first record. I Want to Go. Or is that your first record? No,
Yes,
no.
well, it was my first record that led me to the Liberty days.
It's called I
yes.
Want to Go Home. We don't
That's
have
right.
it here, but it was a real good record. Maybe regional, maybe in Chicago. I
Yes,
don't know. Yeah.
and a few other markets.
Yeah, that was a great song. So how did you make the leap into the big time from that?
Well, as you said, that record had started to get some action, and I was hoping to attract a major label and come to California and perform and do all the things that, singer-songwriters want to do. And that's exactly what happened. I came here and, that was that.
Well, you got on more or less a fast track, as we would say today.
Well, I was probably the only one on the track.
Well, that's it. I mean, did you think? In those days, you were a singer who was writing your own material
And
by and
producing
large.
my records.
But were you thinking of singer-songwriters? There wasn't
No.
such a genre in those days.
It's just you really needed to be a writer to get good material because unless you had a top 5 record or top 10 record, you were not exposed to the really good songs. You didn't get an opportunity to record them.
Mm-hmm.
So I had always written, but I was really working hard trying to get a hit as an artist.
Yeah. So when you walk in the room, I know every time that you walk in the room, a great song on Liberty, you wrote that, and the production was by you or Jack Nitzsche or who was it?
Well, Basically, yes.
Both of those. And a heck of a great record. Somehow a bigger hit a year later by the Searchers.
Well, at that time, I just looking back, they really, I don't think, quite understood who I was, and women had no power. In fact, there were no women on the West Coast doing what I did, singing, writing, producing. And it was a very, very interesting time because I didn't know that it wasn't that way. I didn't know that I was unusual, so I just kept going. I used to go in every week having written songs and produce them and record them as demos on Friday, and they would just sort of, pass them out to whoever was recording at the time, and they were not, I don't think, really interested in me being an artist so much as they were me feeding the publishing company, which happened to be Metric Music at the time. So they encouraged me more to write and to give songs away rather than, produce or focus on me as an artist.
So were they first just sort of releasing your demos? I mean,
Well,
as long as they were there, let's put them out?
No,
or?
not at first. I would, do my regular recording sessions, but on the side, and a big part of my work was this tremendous amount of writing, like Factory. Every week you turn them out. Mm-hmm. And that's how the songwriting got into play. And it was just a very, very different time. I mean, I think I was very much ahead of my time as far as where I was going musically. I had a very diverse background in blues and in gospel music and in classical music. So in those days when you were versatile, you were being difficult. And now being versatile is fine. Mm-hmm. But I was a pioneer. I was the first woman out here to do all this stuff.
How much, you got signed, first of all, which a lot of people don't.
Right.
So were you getting a lot of, were they trying to have you record?
All sorts of different material,
stuff.
yeah. And basically, had I been on Folkways or had I been under the thumb of a John Hammond or someone, or John Landau, let's say there was that type of person, it would have been a different kind of career. It took me a very long time to wind my way around to where I just said enough is enough, and I just didn't record because I wanted the integrity of the music up to my standard and up to my level. It's almost like a kaleidoscope, where you see just a little picture, a little teeny bit of someone, and that was I think was my case.
But when the record company saw, I can't even, Dum Dum, for instance, somebody like that, other people having hits with your songs.
Dum Dum being the Brenda Lee hit.
The Brenda Lee. Did they say, oh, gee, maybe you should do some of this stuff for us, or were they still saying?
No, give it away. It's the easy buck, the quick hit.
Mm-hmm. So what were some hits you had besides that one, which is a great record too, before you became Jackie DeShannon?
We had some, had some Brenda Lee records, and then I tried very hard to get them to, come on and back me as an artist, and I went to Jack Nitzsche, who I always worked with me, did demos or whatever. And
an arranger.
Yep, and one of the greats. Yep. And he wrote Needles and Pins for me. And when we did Needles and Pins, it broke out regionally at very different times. So when it was top 5 in Detroit, it would be going down in Chicago, in New York. So it didn't quite balance. And then all my songs were being sent over to England as a songwriter to get records from the UK by their recording artists. And therein lies how the Searchers would hear my material, and they would quickly get on it because they knew the record company was not a Columbia, was not going to follow through. And so, they just basically copied it.
Okay. Hal?
I was just going to add parenthetically to what Jackie was saying that she was really one of the first artists, female solo artists, that broke away from the girl group genre in the early 1960s. There were a lot of female artists on the charts, Leslie Gore and Ronnie Spector, starting in 62, 63. But Jackie really developed a unique style of pop, rock, folk, a hybrid sound that I think she is really credited for, even all these years forward, for creating.
Well, speaking of the folk rock, I mean, you were around with the Byrds in those days too, right?
Well, I went to see Bob Dylan's first concert at Town Hall, and Peter, Paul, and Mary, who I'd worked with in San Francisco, said, "You have to see this guy," and I'm going, well, okay. And the first half of his show, he did very traditional blues music. Robert Johnson, he did, you know, songs that I grew up with that I knew. So to me, it didn't seem really that original, and I'm sort of yawning, going, yes, and what else? I've heard this, been there, know what that is, and so, okay. And they said, you just wait. So he came back and did the second half and did With God on Our Side, Don't Think Twice, It's All Right. The times they are changing. It just went on, and my hair was standing up. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And it was a great influence on me to really, really start reaching in my writing, because I had never heard that particular kind of music and those words. It was just the combination of the two. And so I went back to my label and I said, you know, I really would like to record a whole album of Bob Dylan songs. And I said, I think he's going to be the next James Dean of rock. And they said, oh, well, no, you're way off. He's never going to make it. So I did Don't Think It Twice, It's All Right, and they let me do a few songs, but not the whole album. And Peter, Paul, and Mary said, well, you're not going to release Don't Think Twice, It's All Right. Is that true? And I said, no, they don't want to put it out. So they put it out. But again, you know, I was there at the beginning, but I didn't have the leverage to pull it off.
Yet Jackie did have the credibility to attract the attention of Paul McCartney and John Lennon, who invited her to be a part of the first U.S. tour in '64. And I just want to throw this out, that in the recent Beatles anthology coffee table book that came out, Paul McCartney is quoted saying that Jackie DeShannon is a great songwriter. Wow. And I think that's a real credit to Jackie's talent. There's also a quote from George Harrison where he says that Jackie taught George and John some guitar licks. So again, it shows that at that point in history, 1964, Jackie was really an influence on important artists in the music industry.
I think I've been very fortunate. I've always had very, very good taste. And the people, you mentioned the weight, one of my background singers was Barry White. And I had a lot of interesting people on that record. Dr. John was playing piano, and Russ Titleman was playing guitar. So I was, you know, I was there. I didn't have the good fortune at the time to put it all together, and that was something that the women today really don't have to deal with, because they are very, very powerful. They can, you know, write and do whatever they want and produce, and that's just the norm. But for me, it was very, very different.
Did you look to any other women? I mean, there was Carole King, but she wasn't really an artist at that point, or known as an artist at least.
No, because there was no one. I mean, there was no one doing. I was always at the edge, on the edge, and there wasn't anyone doing the kind of work that I wanted to do, and that I was trying on a daily basis to do, which was keep the integrity and keep raising the bar, and I would keep going for it and keep moving, and not sitting, you know, with one little thing and staying on that until it was, you know, watered down version of something.
There's an album you did called Laurel Canyon, and I think is fairly well known among Jackie DeShannon albums. I am guessing, but would you say that was sort of the first Jackie DeShannon album in that sense?
Absolutely right. I don't think they even knew I did it. I don't think the label knew that I recorded it.
When that album came out in 1968, it was still 2 years in front of Carole King's Tapestry album, and really became a landmark achievement for women in rock to have a concept album similar to Sgt. Pepper and similar to Pet Sounds. This was the first time a woman had really done that, and then of course when Tapestry came out, so many people attributed that style to Carole King, but in essence, and I'm saying this not as Jackie's PR man, but as an admirer.
Certainly not.
She did it
Certainly
first.
not.
Hers
Exactly.
was first.
Well, I worked at a record company, and we pressed that Laurel Canyon album.
So that explains why the hole was off center in my copy.
Mine's warped.
Oh, what can I say?
Back to you.
But I was really proud of that because it was, I think it set the stage for a lot of different things that are just commonplace now.
So what about What the World Needs Now is Love? Now, that's not your material, but it got to you and went up.
Well, again, the ever searching, looking for the hit, looking for the right combination. I had met Burt Bacharach in New York, and I loved his music, and who didn't? And somehow, I guess I was due for another session, and I don't know who called who, but some way it was decided that they were going to produce a single session for me. Mm-hmm. And one of the songs that they played me was What the World Needs Now. But under duress, Burt did not want to play it for me and said, no. And Hal David just kept at him, play it. I want Jackie to hear this.
He didn't like it, or he wanted to save it for Dion?
I really don't know. I don't know. But Hal insisted. And
Also, Jackie was the ghostwriter of Walk On By, and Burt owed her a huge favor, and had no choice but to give her What the World Needs Now as a payback.
Exactly. So when he played it for me, I just fell in love with it because obviously it's that's my roots, my background, and it had the little gospel feeling to it. At least for me, it did. Maybe he didn't intend it that way, but from the first time that I learned it and I sang it, he said, "That's it. We're off. We're going to New York." The end of it. I mean, he knew. But everyone thought the song. No one thought it could possibly be played on the radio. And some person out in Los Angeles, in the Valley, one of the radio stations, the guy I think was fired over the fact that he just played it. Wow. I don't know, 10 times in a row. And people started calling other stations.
What was wrong with the record? I mean, why wouldn't somebody?
It's a waltz. Nobody could dance to it. That was the
tempo.
That was the thing. How can you put a
unusual.
record out and no one can dance to it?
Wow.
So what's the point?
You could waltz.
So since Hal brought it up, which he will regret by the end of this show, what's the Walk On By story?
I don't have a walk-on by story.
Oh, I was just creating a soundbite.
Okay.
That was,
He's a very knowledgeable music man. Don't let him kid you.
well, I think, to be serious, I think that Jackie broke a song in 3/4 time, again, at a period in rock music where it wasn't that experimental in 1965. People always look to 67, the Summer of Love period with Sgt. Pepper, and the more psychedelic phase of the 60s as being experimental. Jackie's record in 65 for rock radio was an unusual sound. It was more of a Broadway, or what I would think of as traditional pop sound.
Right.
And yet it became such a love anthem that it became part of the Summer of Love. And then 4 years later, in 1969, What the World Needs Now was used as the theme for Bob Carroll, Ted and Alice, a pretty with it movie of the 60s.
And kept going. Went into Forrest Gump. Went into what was that?
4 Weddings and a Funeral.
No. The Julia Roberts movie. Which one was that?
My Best Friend's
My Best
Wedding.
Friend Wedding. Yeah. It's been in a lot of films. Very interesting. And so has Put a Little Love in Your Heart.
I was going to say another one that's probably more interesting to you because you wrote it or co-wrote it. Get a cut on it is and Put a Little Love in Your Heart. Okay. So when that appears in movies, you're real happy, I would guess.
Well, yeah, I'm happy for a couple reasons. Obviously, it's nice to, but the main thing is, for me anyway, is always the work. And if someone likes it well enough to put it in a movie or to record it as Annie Lennox and Al Green did, and Scrooge. You can't get better than that. It was the thrill of one of the greatest thrills of my life.
Do you get a
two of them.
per second rate on that? I mean, that thing ran at the end of that movie for like 10 minutes.
I couldn't believe it. The nachos went all over the theater. I mean, I couldn't. I expected some little little radio.
You were saying you didn't know to what extent it was until you saw the movie.
I had no idea, and I just fell apart. I couldn't believe it.
Somebody who went and paid money to see Scrooged.
That's right.
Well, also, it was used recently, Put a Little Love in Your Heart, in the Lilith Fair shows this past summer. They did Put a Little Love in Your Heart as the finale. The women performers would come out.
The gals just
and again, that's a more recent tribute to Jackie that really proves the everlasting power of her music.
Robert Kennedy also used it in his campaign. And I was very fortunate to catch a film clip on television, and I couldn't believe it. I've never been able to find that clip, but he was using it when he would go into various cities, and it was pretty exciting.
You wrote that with Jimmy Holiday and
my
your brother's on there too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We were writing together at the time. Yeah.
It was just like the three of you in a room with a piano, and you came up with that.
Basically, no. Actually, my brother and I had written a lot of the song, but we were all writing together at that time. So, and Jimmy had always had some really interesting ideas, and so we did that whole album together. So we just really, you know, we didn't say you wrote this or who wrote that. We just did it. But he's a very good writer, really good writer.
Okay, speaking of the ensuing 30 years, we have to speed up towards the end of this show to say that you've kind of been out of circulation for a while.
Oh, yes.
and what's new from you is the new You Know Me album, which we're talking about. We're going to play a little from it on the way out. How did you decide and get back together to make this record?
Well, it's a very strange story. I didn't think I would ever make another album. I had no idea that I would. It sounded good, but I knew all the things that would go into it, and it was just pretty overwhelming for me. And my dad called me up one day, and he said, they're playing a song of yours, Don't Turn Your Back on Me, Babe. And I said, Daddy, you've had too much medication. It's not possible, because no radio station is playing that song.
Yeah, which
he
is
said, "Oh
originally...
no! I think it is." I'm sorry. Were you going to say?
No, I'm just saying that's one of your cuts from.
Oh yeah, a long time ago.
And not a big one. Yeah.
And no, you know, some people would know it, but most would not.
Yeah.
So I had my brother listen to the radio. I said, "You better check this out, because it's ridiculous." So he did, and then he said, "Yeah, not only is this Hal Lifson playing Don't Turn Your Back on Me, Babe. You're in his promotions, and he plays a lot of your music and other people from the '60s like Love that you like, whose integrity musically is that's pretty fine." Yeah. And I listened, and I called him on the radio. I called the station, and
from your secret lair.
From my secret,
deep in the heart of
wherever,
Gotham City.
You bet. Yeah. And I said, "Hi, it's Jackie DeShannon," and the guy, who was it that answered, almost fainted. He said, "No, it isn't."
It was a shock.
I said, "Yes, it is Jackie DeShannon." He said, "Well, you have to wait a minute, because I have to get Hal, and Hal, you can take it from there."
Well, this was a local radio show.
Don't take it too far, because
that's as far as it's
going. And from then, you made an album, and we're going to have to jump it pretty fast, because we want to play something from it before the time is out.
Do we get to do a part 2 of this?
I hope so. Jackie DeShannon's new album, You Know Me. The cut number, I should tell the guy in the booth, it's number 6. And we'd like to hear some of it. You recorded this here in Los Angeles?
Yes, and wrote all the songs but one, 13 brand new songs.
And let's take it for the music on the way out. I think we got about 3 minutes left.
Tune in next week to see part 2, and
yes,
we're all going to go out and change clothes.
Well, we have 3 minutes left. I want to mention there's a website. We don't mention websites, but I don't know what the website is, but I'll bet if you put her name in front of .com, you'd find it.
You will.
That's my guess.
Yes.
And Jackie DeShannon, You Know Me. We're looking forward to hearing this constantly.
And it's on Varese.
It's on Varese Saraband Records. And You Know Me. Let's take a listen to it now and say goodnight.
Oh, bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for Jackie DeShannon. Thanks to everybody for watching.
Thank you.
And,
surely break me. So long without an ending. To learn there's no pretending. You know me, following the shooting star. You know me, someone with a restless heart. You know me, wanting to be where you are endlessly. You know me. These days, behind the sun's illusion, in games where some things must be proven, it's time to trust the reason and say you're still believing. You know me.